Hi, good day, everyone. Welcome to Come On Ye Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. Today, we are discussing the match between Tottenham and Brighton, taking place at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 3 p.m. kickoff on Saturday, Easter Saturday. Today, we've got with us Chuma, who will be helping us reviewing the match. We're looking at the match lineup, we're looking at the form guide, we're looking at the potential stats and seeing how both teams have fared over the last few matches, and of course the managerial situation where everything seems a little bit iffy. But yeah, join us on the other side where we join Chuma and we'll review everything in much more detail. In the meantime, come on, you Spurs. Welcome back. This is Come On You Spurs TV. If this is your first time on the channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share and like the channel. With me today, like I said, I've got Chuma. Chuma, welcome to the program.
Yeah, it's a happy Easter to Come On You Spurs Nation. It's lovely and sunny. I should be in my holiday home in Cancun, but I decided to stay back. Unlike Joseph Lewis and Daniel Levy, I decided to stay and support the club during the weekend match against Brighton. Also auditioning our potential new manager if this aforementioned Daniel Levy and Joseph Lewis can get their fingers out and bring some money and get that guy from Brighton. So onwards and upwards, come on, you Spurs.
Thank you very much. I should have joined you in that Cancun home, you know. I remain here with you, and we're going to preview this match. Now, honestly, there's so much going on in the Spurs nation at the moment that it's so difficult to find out exactly. I mean, from a positive perspective, where do we even stand? I mean, it's just so difficult to say that. Okay, I mean, we want to sort of say things are not going well or things are going well, and everybody on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere you go, it's just so negative, and it's very difficult as a Spurs fan to see the trees from the woods, if you like. You know, where do you stand on this, Chuma? I mean, honestly, I don't know where to start.
Well, what can I say? If you're online, you would think that Spurs are in the relegation zone or about to be relegated, second to last, wherever. You'd honestly think that this was the worst year of all time. However, if you look at the results and you look at the table, and we're literally bang on exactly where we were last year, except this year, some other teams have done better. And it's the evolution of football that the same number of points you got last year could either take you above or less, depending on the standard of football. And the standard of football this year has been really high. So you've ended up with the same number of points, but we're still roughly in and around the same position. And historically, the same position Tottenham have always been in for the last decade or so. We've always hovered around fourth, fifth, and sixth. No difference here. It's just for the first time we have no manager. The organization seems to not be concentrated on trying to replace the manager quickly enough, and it's just it's been a shambles on the footballing side. However, within the shambles, we're still where we traditionally are, which is madness.
Yeah, some people will point to the fact that we're in a position this season where we've been, like you said, right? But also, they will also point to the fact that a lot of teams that are what you might call traditionally around or thereabouts at this stage of the season are not there. I mean, you find the likes of Liverpool and there, right? Arsenal, I don't want to say that name too much on this program, but hey, you know what I'm talking about. They seem to be occupying the top of the league at the moment. I say at the moment, and I use that advisedly because they weren't anywhere near here in the last few seasons. So you've probably seen a lot of aberrations in the season as compared to what you find in the past few seasons. I mean, Man U haven't really, blown the plate apart either in the last few years. So if you think about it, there's a lot of what you might call uncertainties across the league, especially at the top end of it. Chelsea aren't doing so great. Liverpool, who were like champions or always fighting Man City for the championship in the last few years, about what 10th or thereabouts or 9th, something like that. So everyone's really not doing that great. So that could well account for how we find ourselves in that position. But like I always say to people, right, you can only play who's in front of you and do as best as you can regardless of whoever's around you. What do you think? I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, I'm just thinking myself. I mean, how else can we sort of explain what's going on in the league at the moment?
No, I completely agree. You play what's in front of you, and there's a popular saying: the table doesn't lie. If you're fourth on the table, you're the fourth best team. If you're fifth on the table, you're the fifth best team. And with Spurs, we're the fourth or fifth best team based on how we've played. Now, the issue is, I think it hovers on style of play, amount you won by, how that these are the things, the aesthetics of how we win, draw, or lose comes into play a lot more than just if we win, lose, or draw. Because we drew against Southampton. However, aesthetically, that felt like a loss, because it was a game that you felt at 3-1, that's game over, even by any standards of any league, once you get to 3 goals. But I remember a very popular pundit once saying that even 3 goals aren't safe anymore. And he's right, and I think it's just been the nature of how we've played this season. We've had ups and downs. We've had the period where we wouldn't score in the first half, would lose the first half and win the second half. We've had periods where we draw matches. Now it seems to be a case of we take the lead and then we draw. That's where we are this season, at this point of the season. But if you now go back, always go back, let's say 5 games, 6 games, you find out Spurs have won like 3 of 5, 4 of 7, and you're like, hey, that's not really that bad. But it's the eye test. The eye test for Spurs is not very, very good. It's not good watching. It looks clueless in terms of football, and it's not progressive.
Okay, so we'll look at this form guide in a minute. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Right. So we'll look at the form guide in a minute. But before we do that, if we just sort of maybe sort of take a global look at what I call the situation of the club in terms of managerial position, in terms of how the club is run, and what I call the in quote mini crisis, if you like. I mean, granted the fact that okay, fine, despite all of this whole so-called mini crisis that's going on at the moment, we seem to be doing reasonably okay. It hasn't affected our league position in comparison to the same stage we were last season. However, in that time, we've lost a manager, right? And who, I mean, according to all accounts, everyone rates Antonio Conte as probably one of the top managers in the world. You probably rate him in the top 10 if you don't rate managers in the world, at this point in time. And given his pedigree, his history, and what he's achieved in the game. Even though, I mean, he's also achieved that in the Premiership as well. So he has a lot of Premiership experience, and he's been in Italy as well and won league titles with Italy. Now, for a while in Italy. So for me, he's somebody that's we've. It's a bit of a granted. People say that okay, fine, he wasn't a great fit for Tottenham because of the way he plays and because of the sort of demands that he makes for certain type of players. And obviously, Tottenham can't compete for those sort of players either based on wages, based on pedigree, and lots of other factors that sort of weigh into the situation. But we're now left in a situation whereby we have an interim team, if you like, with Stellini and Mason appointed until the end of the season. Now, the question is this, right? I know hindsight is always a wonderful thing, but sometimes you got to make a decision. If your decision turns out to be the right one, with the benefit of hindsight, when you look back down the line, you are termed a genius, obviously, right? But if it doesn't work out or things don't go quite the way you want it to go, then you're obviously regarded as a mug. Now, where would you say if you had to make a decision as to how we run the team? Because here we are, 10 matches to go. Do you bring in a new coach at that point in time who takes 2 or 3 matches or 4 matches to find his feet, or go with the interim team and hopefully that new manager balance would get them back. I mean, given somebody who a bit okay between Mason and Stellini, they know the situation, right? But some people might say that, hang on, you had this old same team there and they didn't quite work out. Why are you leaving them there? Why don't you just find somewhere new and change it straight up? What do you reckon?
Well. To be honest with you, Soji, I was against the Stellini being kept back. When Antonio Conte left, I thought his entire staff left with him, and I would have welcomed that. As much as I thought Stellini did okay while Conte was away, we made jokes on the pod, on the WhatsApp group as well, about the fact that Antonio Conte can relax and recover because this guy is doing a better job with his team and his formation than him. Stellini is in effect, he's still Conte's man. I would have preferred, like, I think everybody was expecting Ryan Mason to take over. I heard something the other day that Ryan Mason's wife is expecting a child. So he's going to be gone for a couple of weeks after this game. I'm not too sure if that's correct or not, but I heard that his wife is expecting and he might have paternity leave. So therein lies the problem. If you'd named him as the interim on his own, it would be a continuity problem. However, like I said, and I put it on Twitter, I think you liked it too. Like, we have Chris Powell there. We have Yaya Toure. We have Jermaine Defoe. Like, I see no problem in telling them, look, leave the under 19s, the 21s, and the under 18s. Come over, form a management team with Chris Powell and him, and do what you need to do. Or get an interim coach who could. But for me, I think so. I think this is just interesting. I've always felt that of all the coaches they were looking at, Pochettino was the only one I felt could come in right now and more or less make his mark with the same team, with the same squad, and then prepare himself, look at them and find out what the deficiencies are for next year. And I feel the fans would cut him some slack, even if he lost games, even if we were not in the top 4 or whatever. I think the fans would have cut Pochettino a lot of slack. However, Daniel Levy's decided to go this way. I think it's the wrong choice. And from the last game against Everton, all I can say is it's the exact same thing. Stellini has gone he's gone on record saying that he wanted to change the formation and the tactics. However, injuries have prevented him from doing so. But I don't agree. I think he's just the same as Antonio Conte. I would have gone for a permanent replacement as quickly as possible. And Chelsea are showing you exactly what that is, because Chelsea allegedly, well, not allegedly because he was in the country, Luis Enrique flew into the country and did his little PowerPoint presentation for the Chelsea board. Nagelsmann said he was going to rest. His agents have been in contact with Chelsea. So it's telling you there's something more. And I think Daniel Levy, for all accounts, the problem with this club is there's a huge communication problem. It took them so long to announce the fact that they were going to get rid of Antonio Conte. It's taken them so long to tell us what is going on in terms of it. If they only came out and said, we are going to look for a coach right now leading up to summertime, and he will be installed as soon as the season is over, we would take them seriously. But there's been nothing. All they'll come out to do is make these announcements, especially catching you off guard. Conte was sacked on a Sunday, when nobody was really thinking about that. Stellini was appointed, and we're like, what's going on? For Tottenham Hotspur Football Club to have a communications director, they are very, very poor at communicating. Whoever that communications director is should be made redundant, because there's nothing coming out of the club. All they've come out to do are just little placating things like freezing season ticket. I mean, imagine raising season tickets at this time. It was like you're not reading the room, and they just did it, and everyone's praising them for doing something that they should have done anyway. Because look at the state of the club. I just think for me, the interim coach thing, there are coaches out there that could have taken us right now to the end of the season, and you'd have told them forget about the results, do as well as you can, but prepare us for next year, and we would have accepted that. But right now, it's looking like very, very poor management from Daniel Levy and the board.
Right, Chuma, I know I said to you that we needed to talk about the team news because I know that, look, this is a point where, I mean, we have Stellini talking about tactics, players not available, and all that sort of malarkey, if you like. And for us as Spurs fans, all we want to do is play football, basically. We want you guys to play good football, regardless of who you have available. But if we just have this is a good time for us to sort of maybe have a look at the predicted lineup, if you like. So can you see this, right?
Yeah, a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So now this is what we have available as a team, if you like, right? So from our perspective, I mean, as a Spurs as a Spurs family, we want, okay. So this is what we have as a team, right? As what you might call folks who are available. The guys who are in yellow are those who are injured. I think we've got 6 people injured in the team now who would form what I call, okay, Session missing, Emerson is missing, so is Davis missing from the back line. Okay, in the midfield we've got Bentancur and Bissouma missing, and on the front 4 or front 3, if you like, you have Richarlison missing. So we've got at least to choose from. If you had to predict the lineup for Saturday, who would you go for?
Well, he's still going to play. I think he's going to play the exact same side as he played against Everton, and which is Lloris coming back, Porro, Romero, Dyer, Longley, Perisic as a wing back, Skip and Højbjerg in the middle, and Kane, Kulusevski, and Son. However, I honestly believe that he might spring a surprise and just play Danjuma. I think the after the game there was so much pressure on the club or on Stellini about the fact that Danjuma didn't come on and Lucas did, and then Lucas got the red card. So I think somewhere along the line he has to understand that people are looking at him like you're not being fair. You're doing exactly what Antonio Conte did. So it is the same, regime in charge. I don't know why, but I think either Son or Kulisevsky, one of them is going to drop. And I honestly think Danjuma is going to get a start. Also, in the last week, Spurs had more like a reaching out to the Islamic community that supports Tottenham, and he was sent as a representative regarding Ramadan and everything else, and Spurs, what Spurs are doing to support our Muslim brothers and sisters at the club. And I think for whatever reason, that appearance has made me think that, hey, this guy is going to feature because, the PR around him, everyone, as soon as that game ended, everyone said, why hasn't Danjuma played? Why hasn't Danjuma played? So I think if we're going to see any outlier in the game, if they don't switch to a back 4, which I don't think they will, but if we're going to see any outlier in change of tactics or predicted lineup, I would see Arno Danjuma coming and playing. That's the only thing I would see that's different.
So if we have a look here, right? So we haven't for some reason added Danjuma, right? And if you have a look, you see that we also have Mr. Lucas suspended because of the red card from the match against
Everton.
Everton.
Yeah.
So it means in the middle we'll have the same system of having Højbjerg and Bentancur, right?
And Skip.
Sorry, and Skip rather. And hopefully we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe, I don't know, Danjuma, who knows? I mean, um, we'll have to see about that. But I mean, like you said, there's this reaching out. Maybe he has a chance this time. He may come in as a second half substitute, but chances are that
Yes.
we'll have him we'll have Son and Kane up front alongside with Kulusevski, right? Is that correct?
But I'll be honest with you. For me personally, I would really love I would love Christian Stellini to be. I would love him to be braver than he is right now. I would love him to just try something new. Just say to himself, what do I have to lose? Let me play a different formation. And please, the fans are saying, okay, let me play a different formation and see what we can do. And I honestly think that Spurs can step to the plate if they do. I think even procking any of those boys from the under 23s, sticking them in a position and just telling them, look, all you have to do is stay here, play this in the back four, replacing um, playing as a left back or placing um, Longley as a left back, playing a back four. Longley doesn't have to really do much. He doesn't have to cover, go down the wing. Just exactly what Vertonghen would do in games. We've had Vertonghen playing left back, even though he wasn't left back. We've had that before, all to try and get more people in midfield. Our problem is midfield. We don't pass the ball. When we get the opportunity, only two midfielders. They are not really adept at passing. Get an extra person in there. I just think it's worth trying to do something different. What do you think?
From what you said, because it's a little bit difficult to do something different. But the truth of the matter is that, look, I don't see how we're going to play the back four. I mean, who are we going to deploy in that back four? Dier and Romero, and who will be we don't have Emerson at the moment, who's injured. We don't have a proper left back who can step in that left back position. So are we going to play Porro, Dier, Romero, and Longley as the back four? And then
Yes. Yeah, because okay, the way I look at it is there's this lopsided back four where you have one player who is a fullback that isn't a fullback. We did it with Mourinho one time where Davis played left back, but what happened was the right fullback Ori was further forward. Davis tucked in to become back three as well. And I'm not saying it works perfectly, but it's like your best bet. So Longley is still playing back three, but the way you line up is more this to get more players up top. I just think it's necessary. Like it would be so amazing if we could have even Danjuma playing with Kulusevski, Kane, and Son, all four of them up front in whatever kind of formation that would work. I think it would be. I just think it would be something new for the fans, and because you look at Brighton coming in, Brighton know how they play, and Brighton know they can come here and just destroy Spurs. I honestly see that happening if we don't get a change in formation or tactics.
That's a really good one because I mean, like you said, I mean, I don't know how. I think they'll probably end up playing Porro, Dyer, Romero, and Longley as a back four, and have in the middle Skip, Højbjerg, and Perisic. I don't know how that's going to work, and then maybe front three of
Yeah,
Kulusevski, Kane, and Son. And
yeah.
because
I wouldn't mind that at all. I wouldn't mind that at all. I wouldn't mind Perisic playing in mid. I wouldn't mind that at all because he doesn't have the legs to defend. So
right, that remains to be seen. Now, if you look at, I mean, let's just have a quick look. I don't know, but at some point, things are going to have to, something's got to give, and what that is, it's all for us to keep an eye out for. I mean, in terms of form, I mean, both teams. We were talking about this before
the show.
we came on live, right? And it's sort of really funny how both teams on the face of it have very similar form guide, coming into this match. And if you look at the form guide, it's so funny because yeah, we have what both teams have 11 points coming into this match. You know,
Yes.
they've got they both won three,
Drawn
drawn
two.
two, and lost one.
Yeah.
And if you, it's amazing how what the upticks don't even bear that out. If it's in the sense that I mean on the face of it,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean
Exactly.
we are in dire straits, if you like, for one of the better expression. If you, I mean, most people will think, okay, if you look, let's even have a look at what that looks like from a form guide perspective. Now we won three, you know, they've won three, you know, but the sequence has been different, right? The optics,
Yes.
if you like, if you look at it, we drew a 3-3 against Southampton for a match that we comfortably should have won, right? They
Yeah.
drew 3-3 against Brentford at home, right? We went away, remember? But they drew
Yeah.
3-3 against Brentford at home, but they were 2-0 down, you know? And then they came up and won that. I mean, sort of, they became 2-1, 2-2, and then
Mm-hmm.
3-2 to Brentford, and they came back and drew. So for them, that 3-3 felt like a win. You know,
Exactly. And
because
for us, ours was a loss.
that sounds like a loss.
You know, it's football.
Isn't life funny? You know, so that tells you half of the story. You know, now what do you predict for the outcome? I mean, this is it. So what do you think it's going to be? It's going to how's it going to pan out in the end? Tomorrow,
Well,
I mean on Saturday rather.
you know what? I would love to be very optimistic and say, I'd love to be optimistic and say Tottenham should win, or I honestly see, I honestly see Brighton winning this game, especially if Stellini and Mason do not change formation or tactics. If they come playing that same 3-4-3, barring a miracle, I see Brighton coming to. I see Brighton winning this match, and I see them winning it comfortably. I think there are too many holes tactically, and De Zerbi is a better coach than both Mason and Stellini, and he has his team playing to an identity. Those two don't have. So I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to come on you Spurs. This is probably one of the first times I'll come out very negative, but I see Brighton winning 2 goals clear.
Okay, I'm going to take the contrary view. You know, I'm Optimus Positivus.
As
no,
expected.
no surprises there. You know, I think this is one time when we wake up and smell the coffee and do the business at home. You know, I think we'll probably end up winning 2-0. I think, and the reason I say that is this, right? So they've got what you might call a bit of attacking flair, right? In Mitoma and the young Ferguson guy, right? Yeah, they've also got the other guy on the other wing who likes to bump forward. Yeah, yeah. So, but if you think about who they're up against Kulichevsky and Son. And if they go on those runs of theirs and trying to come forward and it will catch them and kill them on the counter. That's my perspective anyway. So yeah, so yeah, and yeah, I think this when it comes off really good. I mean, they had Zerbi at the beginning of the season when we faced them, even though they just started with him at the time. We still ended up winning that match, not comfortably, but we ended up winning the match.
Not comfortably, but
yeah, exactly.
You saw the beginning signs of Zerbi football.
Well, exactly. So, but we won the match, and
no, we did. You beat what's in front of you, but since then till now, look at the difference in football. And for me, I look at De Zerbi and I look at it as also this might be a tricky way to put his credentials out there that you guys are not, certain people, the Honorable Alexander Gamble, one of them, has more or less poo-pooed Roberto De Zerbi and Julian Nagelsmann. I think they're going to be calling De Zerbi the zebra, and they're going to be calling Nagelsmann Nigel Mansell. So between the zebra and Nigel Mansell, he's looked at them and they haven't really proven themselves. They haven't done anything. So it's a chance for him to, I think, prove himself and show his doubters or people who think he's not big enough for the Spurs challenge, even though he's still not probably going to move to Spurs. But I think he wants to lay a marker down to show that I am, you know, this tactically good. I am the creator of very good players. And I think there's a chip on his shoulder coming to Tottenham as well. But I see what you're saying in terms of hitting them on the break because they have possession, but they counter as well. So it's a case of two teams. If they decide to counter as well, they're as good, if not better, as Spurs at the moment. But I'm keen to see.
Well, we all look forward to that match, and we'll come out and yeah, guys. I mean, tune into the live stream afterwards, the post match aftermath, the banter, the key points, and all of that. You know, we very much look forward to you joining the conversation. Yeah, it's been very nice having you, Chuma. Final word before we go, and yeah, I think what do you reckon? You said 2-0 to Brighton, yes?
I say 2-0 to Brighton. I'll be delighted if Tottenham played well and won. It's just a matter of how we play. If we come out and play very well, it's every likelihood we can win. But I think Brighton are playing the better football, and Brighton have more of an identity and a togetherness than Tottenham at the moment. So I see, and I also let me add this as well. I think we might even be the unpredictability of Daniel Levy. Stellini could still go in this space of these 9 games. I think they could just get tired of Stellini and tell him to pack his bags and bring someone. We don't know what's going on with the club. I honestly think that the fans dislike Stellini now as well as Conte, and he might just go to appease the fans. Anything's possible.
Okay, I mean, guys, it's been fantastic having you guys. I mean, fantastic having you. Sorry, Chuma. It's amazing. So yeah, I mean, we look forward to match against what's the word against Brighton. We very much hope that we come out tops in that match. And yeah, I mean, despite all of the naysaying and negatives going on around Spurs, I'm very much looking forward to a positive outcome tomorrow. Oh, sorry, on Saturday. And yeah, and guys, join us for the post-match live stream. It kicks off at 5:45. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, come on, Ye Spurs.
Come on, Ye Spurs.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been fantastic having you, Chuma. Like I said, yeah, we'll see you on the other side. All right.
See you on the other side. Take care.
All right. Bye now.